What's happening, my fellow producers, my music producers? What's happening? It's your boy DJ Fanatic Beats, content contributor for LiveOffBeats.com. Welcome to this beat breakdown video where I go over every element in this beat right here that basically is just taken off. This beat is more on the, I wouldn't say trap side, because I can hear Eminem or Joyner Lucas, or it's a straightforward just bars beat where you want to hear bars anyway. It reminds me of like the whole Detroit Slaughterhouse Crew, just for some reason. When I play it, maybe it reminds you of that. If you hear somebody else, yeah, definitely put it in a comment or whatever. So anyway, I'm gonna break down every element and some things that I did, and hopefully it inspires you. So if you'd like to follow me, you can follow me on Instagram at DJ Fanatic Beats. That's PHANATIC, or Instagram as well at Sounds for Producers. So check it out. This first element that I started with was a loop. Sometimes I start with loops, sometimes I don't. This one actually had some nice stuff going on, and I did some chopping, and I'll show you that in a second. So anyway, I started out with this piano sound. And that basically repeats, but I did something cool at the end of the 8 bars. And that's actually playing, I slid the audio. What you can do is go here, and then using this tool right here, you can slide audio any way you want. It's a little trick, okay? And come up with some different things. And if I change it like this, let's just move it here and see what happens. It's a little slight difference. So anyway, you get the idea. Play around with that, when you're messing around with loops or whatever. And also what I did, let me make sure I change that back. Also what I did with the loop, I like to really just go crazy with loops sometimes and change it totally. And you want to get in the habit of that because you're making it your own. So I raised it up a couple semitones. Let me copy the value. I think it was 200. Let's see. Yep. And what semitones are, let's go to here, just go piano roll, is basically half steps from this note to that note. 1, 2. See what I'm saying? That is 100 cents, and that is 200 cents. So 100 cents, 200 cents. From here to here is 100 cents. And that's what half steps are. So that's a way to know like how many notes to raise a certain loop or sample. And on top of that, I also, as you can see, I did some EQing. I cut out the highs. And actually, let's turn everything off. This is what the loop sounds like. And notice it already has processing on it. It has some cool stuff going on, but I wanted to take it further. So I cut lows and cut highs just to isolate that area, the low mids, the mids, and some high mids. And then I went to gross beat and switched it up some more. What I use for gross beat, there's tons of presets out there, but I like what's in here, and then you can manipulate it. I use the basic, there's like a stutter at the end, and this is on the basic preset, and then I use the gate to kind of make it go in and out. But I turn the volume down so it's not as sharp for both of the effects. And sometimes little subtle things like that, you can make a loop or a sound just more unique. And then I add a reverb. So here it is without reverb, and add reverb. See? So that gives that whole vibe right there. Just spending some time on your first element. It's the foundation of the beat, like a foundation of a building or a house, or the foundation of your business. You want it strong. You don't want a weak foundation, because you won't be inspired to finish that beat. So spending a little time on your first element like that definitely can take you, a different place. So in the next element, check it out. It's a piano part that I played. really fast, short movement. Just wanted something real quick, but also very subtle in the background. The next element is like just a low part of the piano. My bad. It's actually another melody. That was a sample that I found somewhere that I basically pitched to the key and found it in, I think, Arcade. And notice the repetitive movement of it. You know, there's a lot of elements that repeat over and over, and that's more what trap music does. But also a lot of hip hop music does that. So, but you don't want your beat repeating like crazy. But I'm just saying there's some specific things. When you analyze music, you can hear it. So check it out. This is the lower octave note. Actually, this is the key of the beat. I think this was E minor. I don't know. But anyway, I repeated that throughout the beat to kind of give it this menacing feel. So you're already feeling the vibe right there. So, and the next element here is a melody that I put in there. See, so now that we got all that going on, we started getting into the drums. I think I started with the snare first to kind of figure out where I want the snare to fall in this particular tempo. So that's where I wanted to fall at this type of tempo, 155. It's an interesting tempo for hip hop music, but this is a straightforward like bars type beat. So anyway, or Eminem or Joyner Lucas or Slaughterhouse, whatever. It could apply to anybody really. There's a lot of artists I can hear on this, maybe Meek Mill too. So anyway, this is the kick pattern that I chose, and you notice that snare was just hitting crazy, and it's a layered snare. So when you're choosing your sounds, and you know, you want to make sure they work with the type of beat that you're making or the other elements and melodies that you have in the beat. So here we go. And notice I had layered snares, but both are EQ'd. Like I'm isolating specific fundamental frequencies in each snare. So I'm isolating those sounds and boosting them and cutting out lows. So I'm kind of crafting exactly what I want out of these snares to kind of work together, and the kick as well. Notice I'm choosing just a subtle little low mid to make the kick stand out more in the mix. And what's cool about this kick, I used Sound Goodizer and it brought out some other natural harmonics in the low end, but it also gave it just this punch that's just crazy. And that kick has some reverb built on the sound, and I thought it sounded kind of big and cool with this type of beat. So then I added a hi-hat. And something was bugging me like crazy on this beat. This actually right here, this whole track 1 was a little off, and you can click here and highlight the whole track and take snap to grid, put it on none, and then just hold shift and arrow key forward or right. That way the loop isn't right on the grid. It can be a little after to give it a little groove. And speaking of groove, obviously I used some swing. Let's copy that value. The swing value, I think it was like 25. Nope, it's lower than that. It's like 17. Yeah, see, pace value 17. I didn't want too much swing for this type of beat. I wanted it pretty straightforward, and it seems a little slow for me. I could have increased the tempo, but you know, here we go. And it's like a wood block I added in the back. It's very subtle, but it gives it a little extra something. I don't even know my own beat. Forgot about that. Adding little things like that, you know, in the background just kind of gives it a little more feeling. Putting like even sound effects. I forgot what producer said that, but I know Timbaland, he puts like crazy stuff like in the background. You'll never know what it is because it's layered so well and it gives it that power. And that's kind of what I like doing with some of these beats, and that's what that little percussion element does for this beat. And I think this was like a cymbal crash. My bad. It's actually a hit, basically like a stab, like a hit where someone presses all the keys down, like a main triad of the chords or whatever. This one's actually like a string ensemble hit. I can solo it so you can hear what it is. And I added some reverb, as you can hear it tailing in there, just to make it sound bigger. So lastly, I think it was the 808, and this intro, it was a vocal sound right before the chorus comes in. And I added distortion and reverb on that just to kind of give it this aggression and also blend in well with this type of beat. And here comes the 808. And that is a long 808. Added some distortion with decapitator, and of course it is sidechained to the kick. The kick is sidechained to the 8, so that way the kick stands out over the same frequencies. And you know, that's important to do because your drums won't stand out if you have an 808 just eating up all the energy in the beat. And you don't need your 808 super loud. You know, basically you focus on isolating whatever frequencies you want to use in that 808, so it's not clashing too much with other elements. You can really get precise with that. So yeah, if you notice, there's other things, as I do with most of my beats, things going in and out, because there's always movement in tracks and songs. Not always. Sometimes you don't need this much movement, but I'm a little different. I like to have my stuff unique. So anyway, I'm gonna play a little bit of the intro, the chorus, some of the verse, and you get the feel of the beat. And I actually just faded it out. I didn't do anything too crazy. Processing wise, I showed you earlier, gross beat for the main loop, parametric EQ2 for mostly everything. Not much panning because the way the sounds were already panned. Used some reverb, distortion, and more distortion. I used fruity fast distort for the vocal to kind of give it, you know, this really destroyed audio sound. I wanted it angry but also dark and like it's distortion. And then I used a technique where I group all the drums and use a compressor. Sausage Fattener is insane. So I use that only on the drums as a group, and then I send it to the master chain and use other mastering to kind of give it some more power. So I turned off the mastering for the video because it eats up so much processing power. And also I use the Sausage Fattener for the sound group as well. So anyway, let me play the intro, chorus, and some of the verse, and hopefully you enjoy it. Yeah, there you have it, man. I was listening again. I noticed the first loop actually sounds a little early, and I would make it a little behind the beat, just a little more, so it can blend a little more. By doing that, you just hit Control and left click on the track here where my cursor is, and it highlights the whole thing. And you go to here, which is the snap to grid, and choose none. And this hold down shift and hit right arrow until it feels the way you want. You trust your ear and trust your feelings with the beat. I feel that it's a little early, but you may not have noticed. Some of my more intermediate to advanced producers may have noticed. But anyway, it came out pretty dope. So again, it's DJ Fanatic Beats, content contributor for LiveOffBeats.com. Again, if you'd like to follow me, you can follow me on Instagram at DJ Fanatic Beats. That's PHANATIC, or Sounds for Producers on Instagram as well. Hopefully I showed you something to inspire you, or some type of producer tip that you didn't know about. Man, a fade out. Let's see. Yeah, I just did a fade out there. And a quick thing you can do to cut off a long 808 like that, which I wanted to show you, is make like a little extra note and just lower the velocity all the way down, and the 808 will cut off right there. That's a quick, easy way. There's other ways of doing it, but that's what I use for this beat. So anyway, go ahead, get in the studio, open up your DAW, make something dope, and I'll catch you next video. Peace and love.